Hello everyone. So in this session we will be discussing animal kingdom basis of classification. So we all know that the R.H. Whittaker's 5 kingdom classification. So there are 5 kingdoms in this classification. Number 1 Monera, and second kingdom is Protista, and third fungi, fourth plantae, and fifth animalia. So totally 5 phyla. Now let us understand the Monera. Monera is a unicellular kingdom and which consisting of exclusively prokaryotes. So we know what are prokaryotes. Pro stands for primitive and karyo means nucleus. So primitive nucleus, that means the genetic material is present but there is no any nuclear membrane. Now let us understand what is this Protista. So Protista are also unicellular organisms but eukaryotes. U stands for true, karyo means nucleus. That means the genetic material will be covered by, that means protected by a nuclear membrane. Okay. Next comes fungi kingdom. The fungi kingdom is a multicellular and it is consisting of eukaryotes. Multicellular means many cells, more than 1 or 2 cells will be present in the organism. Next one, plantae kingdom. Plantae kingdom also multicellular eukaryotic. And animal kingdom, the 5th kingdom is animal kingdom, that is multicellular heterotrophic and animals, even eukaryotes. Multicellular meaning we know, eukaryotic also we know, and heterotrophic means they cannot prepare their own food material as they depend on other organisms to get the nourishment, nutrition. So they are called heterotrophic organisms. It includes exclusively animals. So the animal kingdom is consisting of totally 11 phyla: Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminths, Aschelminths, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata. So these are the 11 phyla of the animal kingdom. So now let us go through the basis of classification. That means on what criteria the animal kingdom has been divided into 11 phyla. Now we will study. In that, the first criteria is levels of organization. The second criteria is symmetry. The third criteria is germinal layers. We can also call them embryonic layers. And the fourth criteria is coelom. And the fifth criteria is segmentation. And the sixth criteria is notochord. So these are the basis of classification. That means by these characters, based on these characters, the animal kingdom has been divided into 11 phyla. Now let us understand about each and every criteria. So in that first one, levels of organization. We all know that our living organisms are composed of cells, tissues, organs, organ systems, and finally organism will form, right? We know that hierarchy of the organization. So based on that levels of organization, the animal kingdom is divided into 4 levels. So the first one is cellular level of organization. The first organization is cellular level of organization. The second one is tissue level of organization. The third one is organ level of organization. And the fourth organization level is organ system level of organization. So now let us understand this cellular level of organization, what it means. In this, the animal will be solely composed of a cells. That means there are no tissues, no organs, no organ systems. The organism is purely composed of a cells. There are no more tissues, no more organs and organ systems. Only cells you will find. That means a bunch of cells or a mass of cells you will find. The entire organisms like mass of cells. So animals are made up of loose aggregates of cells. So no tissues, no organs, no organ systems. The only phylum that comes under this organization, that means the only phylum which show this organization is the first phylum, that is Porifera. Now the second level of organization is tissue level of organization. It means in these animals you will find the cells which are having similar structure and function will be organized to form tissues, but you will not find any organs. Only the cells which are having same structure and function will be further organized to form tissues. So that's why animals in which cells organized into tissues you will find. There are no organs, no organ systems. So the second phylum Coelenterata and the third phylum Ctenophora are the two phyla which shows this tissue level of organization. And now the third one is organ system, organ level of organization. That means the animals in which cells are there, but they are organized into tissues. Even the tissues who perform similar functions also, they will be organized into organs. The tissues organized into organs. That means the tissues must perform the same function. They will be organized to form an organ. So Platyhelminths phylum, you can take an example. Next one, organ system level of organization. That means in these animals, the cells formed into tissues, tissues organized into organs, and the group of organs who perform same function, they'll be forming into a system that is called organ systems. Okay, so animals in which organs are organized into organ systems. And phylum number 5 to 11, that means Aschelminths, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata phylum. So this is levels of organization based on which the animal kingdom is divided into 4 levels. Okay, so the next criteria is symmetry. Symmetry means what? That means having a proper form or a shape, or else we can divide that object or animal or any plant, we can divide into two equal halves, right? That is called symmetry. So symmetry, based on this property also animal kingdom classified. First let us understand this asymmetrical animals. That means if you take the animal, you cannot divide that into two equal halves in any plane. So these animals are called asymmetrical animals, and most of the animals of porifera, you will take an example coming under asymmetric animals. Next one, symmetrical animals. That means the animals can be divided at least in one plane into two equal halves. Even in one plane, at least in one plane, if the animal can be divided into two equal halves, then it is called symmetrical. So now there are two types of symmetry you can find. Two types of symmetry. So the first one is radial symmetry. That means if you draw a circle and from the center, and by taking any plane, you can divide that circle into two equal halves by the line passing through that center, right? So this is very simple to understand. The animal also, if it can be divided into two equal halves by the line passing through the center of axis, or else the central axis of the body, then it is called radial symmetrical. So the animal can be divided into two equal halves by the line passing through the center in how many degrees? 360 degrees. So these animals are called radially symmetrical animals. Examples of which phyla shows radial symmetrical? Second, third, that means Coelenterata, Ctenophora and also Echinodermata. In Echinodermata, adults will show the radial symmetry, not the embryonic forms. Embryonic forms will show the bilateral symmetry. Okay, now let us understand bilateral symmetry. So the animals can be divided into two equal halves by the line passing through only one plane, that is longitudinal axis. So phylum number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is phylum number 4? Platyhelminths, Aschelminths, Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, embryonic forms, and 10 and 11, Hemichordata and Chordata. So all these phyla will show bilateral symmetry. That means the animal can be divided into two equal halves in only one plane, that is longitudinal plane. So the next criteria based on which the animal kingdom is divided into two categories, that is germinal layers. We also can call them embryonic layers. Now if you look at the process of a sexual reproduction in animals, the males produces male gametes, females produces female gametes, and if they undergo fertilization, the zygote will be produced, and the zygote will undergo the next process, that is called embryogenesis. That means development or formation of embryo from the zygote. So that is embryo, and finally the embryo will be divided into layers. So they are called embryonic layers. Then you may think, what is the importance of these embryonic layers? Each embryonic layer can give rise to specific tissues, organs, organ systems. So now let us understand, few animals will be having two layers, two embryonic layers I am talking. One is outer layer and the other one inner layer. Outer layer is called ectoderm, inner layer is called endoderm. Ecto stands for outer, endo stands for inner. That means outer layer, derma means layer. Ecto means outer, derma means layer. So outer layer, inner layer. The animal's embryo, if only two layered, we call it diploblastic animals. Blastic means embryo. Di means two. That means two layers of embryo. Ectoderm, endoderm. So these phyla are 1, 2, 3. That means Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora. Other group of animals, three layers of embryo. One is outer layer ectoderm and the middle mesoderm, inner endoderm. Meso means middle, endo means inner, ecto means outer. Already we have studied in the previous section. Next, so if the animal's embryo is three layered, we call them Triploblastic. Tri means three. So phylum number 4, that means platyhelminths, up to phylum Chordata, phylum number 11, we call them triploblastic animals. The next criteria is coelom. Cele means a space or a cavity. Coelom means a body cavity. So how to define this coelom? The coelom is divided as the space between the outer body wall and inner alimentary canal. So we know that in the animals there is an alimentary canal, we call it digestive tract. So, and the body, entire body is covered by a body wall. So there is a space between this outer body wall and inner alimentary canal, and we usually call it coelom, the body cavity. Okay, the space between outer body wall and inner alimentary canal, which is usually internally and externally, it is lined by mesoderm. Based on the development of the coelom, the animals can be classified into three types. Acoelomates means absence of the coelom between the outer body wall and alimentary canal. Outer body wall, inner alimentary canal, in between there is no any coelom, so that's why acoelomates. Phylum number 1, 2, 3, 4. So that means Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, Platyhelminths. These four phyla will not show any coelom. So you can see here easily, you can understand outer body wall, inner alimentary canal, in between there is no coelom. So acoelomate condition. Phylum number 1, 2, 3, 4. Next one, pseudocoelomate. Pseudo means false. Why we call this false? Because the mesoderm will be scattered as a pouches between the body wall and alimentary canal. So outer body wall, inner alimentary canal, in between the mesoderm scattered as a pouches. In only one phylum you can see this condition, that is Aschelminth's phylum, pseudocoelomate condition. Next phylum, 6th Annelida, 7th Arthropoda, 8th Mollusca, 9th Echinodermata, 10th Hemichordata, 11th Chordata. In all these phyla, you can find the true coelom, that means internally, externally lined by mesoderm between outer body wall and inner alimentary canal, and we call them eucoelomates. We can also call them true coelomates. The next criteria is segmentation. So segmentation, we also call it metamerism. Meta means many, meres means spherical segments. So this property is called metamerism. It is a property of an animal to be divided into numerous spherical segments. So this property is metamerism. Meta means many, merism means having meres. Meres are nothing but ring-like segments. So this property of an animal to be divided into numerous ring-like segments, and majority of the Annelida animals as well as Arthropoda animals, some animals will show this segmentation property. So here comes the last criteria based on which the animals are classified, that is called notochord. So we all might have heard about this term notochord. Notochord is nothing but a rod-like structure that is derived from the mesoderm of the embryo, and it is located dorsal side of the body between the nerve cord and alimentary canal. That means below the nerve cord, above the alimentary canal. D for dorsal side, V for ventral side, and completely extreme dorsally you will be able to see the nerve cord, and below to that you can find the notochord, and below to that alimentary canal. So above the alimentary canal, below the nerve cord, you will find this rod-like structure, and we call it notochord. And the animals with notochord, we call them chordates. Animals without notochord, we call them non-chordates. So there are two categories. And phylum number 1 to 9, we call them non-chordates because there is no notochord. And animal phylum number 11, we call them chordata phylum because they have a true notochord. And you may get a doubt, what about phylum number 10? Because I'm not telling in that examples. Phylum number 10 is called hemichordata. Why? Because they have a notochord like structure, but it is not a true notochord, and it is also rudimentary structure. So we call them hemichordates. That means half chordates because they have a notochord like structure, but it is not a true notochord, it is rudimentary structure. So because of that, the 10th phylum is called hemichordata, whereas 11th phylum is having true notochord, so we call them chordates, and 1 to 9 we call them non-chordates. So this is how we classify animal kingdom based on these characteristic features or criteria.